Welcome to the first 1000-hour aviation podcast. Today we're going to be discussing our physics CS work. I'm Jacob, and I'm joined with...
Yo, Tyler, here. We talk about the high voltage lines. Hopefully we don't blow this up like we normally do on here on 1000-hour aviation. So it should be a first.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we don't blow it up, but honestly, if it does, then it does. We can't really fix that. Later on, we are joined by a special guest. We'll introduce him later. But for now, Tyler, what are we answering for our question today?
So we are answering about the misconception of do power lines cause leukemia in children, and specifically high voltage power lines, so the ones you see on the big tall towers, usually going around.
Usually.
Sometimes like
around. About 10 years ago, I know it's been quite a while. Some of you might think that's ancient, but we're not that old. Our teachers wouldn't really appreciate being called ancient. I'm not implying that at all. But back then, lots of people were fearing power lines as a source of leukemia in children because, well, some sources claim they are, but honestly, we'll disprove it later. We'll just talk about it, we'll just show that it's really a joke.
Yeah.
Don't you agree, Tyler?
Yeah, there was a study conducted by a team at the University of Oxford, where they found that children who lived within 200 metres of high voltage lines at birth had 70% higher risk of leukemia than those who lived 600 or more metres away. So this actually turned out there was no biological reason for this, and it was just happened to be that that's how it was. There was no evidence. It was just completely chance.
Yeah, it's baseless, really. These things don't really make sense. How could this high voltage power line, it shouldn't really work, but if you think about it, we prove it later. Our professor in the field, our expert, he does the calculations.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about why do we actually need HV lines, because if we didn't have high voltage lines, there wouldn't have been this fear of it causing leukemia in children anyway, if we just didn't have them, but there must be a need for them. So Jacob, why do we have high voltage lines?
Well, obviously, there's the obvious reasons like your electricity. You can't really have a nice hot shower if you don't have that. It's a real commodity, really, but some people still complain. They fear the things that fuel them, really. But anyway, you need it for your energy, your batteries, your everything, really. Everything these days is powered by these HV lines. Your public transport, public trains. You don't think about this, you take it for granted these days, but those HV transmission lines, they power everything. And you can't really dig up the countryside just to put a power cable in it, can you?
Yeah, not really. They literally transfer electricity from wherever it's being generated. It might be a wind farm, solar farm, natural gas being burnt, coal power station. If you have any of them, I don't know what else is there. There's nuclear power stations. Gets transferred from them and goes through a step up transformer to increase the voltage, and then goes through the high voltage transmission lines, goes to a local substation where it goes for a step down transformer to become the 240 volts or to 230 volts even. That goes to the houses, and then.
And why is it we use a transformer?
We use a transformer to step up the voltage. So as the voltage is increased, then the current decreases because V equals IR.
Mm-hmm.
So then and current will cause heat in the wires that are in the transmission lines. So and that means there'll be energy lost as heat, and we don't want energy loss. So that's why we increase the voltage for less current. So it lowers the amount of energy loss from the heat of the lines, and also doesn't damage the lines as much.
Thank you for clarifying that. Some of our viewers might not know that.
And also we have to have the high voltage transmission lines because we can't transfer the energy to places. We can't just keep it in one place and store it, because right now we haven't got any big batteries. The best batteries we have really are in electric cars, and they are
like Teslas.
Yeah, they are not that great at storing the energy.
Elon hasn't figured it out yet. Yeah.
No, he keeps saying that he will, but he just seems to be focusing on rockets more than he does the car batteries.
Oh, talking about rockets, did you hear the news last Monday?
Oh, didn't they catch a rocket or something?
Yeah, they caught like everyone's making fun of it, but at the same time praising it because he caught a rocket with a pair of chopsticks.
Yeah, it's much,
Honestly, it's pretty
much
cool.
better than how NASA was doing it. They normally just land it in the middle of the Pacific and then go and have a dive team go and fetch it. But like, it's a lot easier. It just comes back. Like,
You know, I think I've heard news that China's also recently started trying it, copying Elon, of course.
yeah. And isn't he also going to try and do hydrogen, or is that somebody else? They're going to like use hydrogen fuel, and then we could have hydrogen coming out the end of the rockets instead of whatever they use now.
No, I don't know about hydrogen. Hydrogen used to be used, and then it's like switched, and then they haven't used. I honestly don't really know, but hydrogen's a pretty cool rocket. I mean, but knowing Elon, he's gonna go for electric rockets soon.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, batteries in the rockets. I don't know. There has to be some really lightweight, energy-dense batteries, and then you might not need a high voltage transmission lines then.
Yeah, you don't need the high voltage transmission line if you got a rocket powering your commodities.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to record this podcast without the quality high voltage transmission lines. So, working pretty well.
Honestly, I am so thankful for these high voltage transmission lines.
Yeah.
Our expert later will clarify. Speaking of our expert, I believe we're about to pass over to him soon.
Yeah.
But before that, we got to express how much we love high voltage transmission lines.
High voltage transmission line.
Yay! So anyway, it's almost time. End of our section now. So we will have to pass over to our expert, Andrei Biansu, expert in high voltage transmission, high voltage lines.
Really good at the high
Anything
voltage.
else you want to add to that title?
I think he's really good at the high voltage stuff. He understands it really well. He's like expert at high voltage lines. He's a number
His
one guy.
passion. He's dedicated his whole life to high voltage transmission lines. So honestly, fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, over to him to calculate the strength of magnetic and electric fields at realistic distances from humans.
At a distance of 200 meters, magnetic field strength is mu naught I over 2 pi r, or mu naught is 1.20 minus 6. Plankton's equation gives an answer of 1.0 times 10 to the minus 6 Teslas. Electric field is equal to lambda over 2 pi, so not r, and that is equal to 1 times 10 minus 6 columns. We get 1 times minus 6 columns, or 2 pi times minus 12 times 1 meters is 89.9 newtons per coulomb.
Do you think there is any risk of humans living near high voltage transition lines?
Considering that at 200 meters field strength is 1 microtesla, and the Earth's microfield is approximately 50 microteslas, it's something larger. I wouldn't say there's a significant risk.
Okay, so after hearing the expert's opinion, Jacob, what's your opinion on the relative risks to the UK public of living near high voltage transmission lines?
Well, as I said earlier, it's really a lot of, well, nothing but propaganda. I mean, think about it. You're spreading public fear for what reason? As our experts proved, there's no risk really from living near these high voltage power lines. The background radiation, magnetic field strength of our Earth, approximately 50 microteslas. It varies in places. That's far greater than the microwave radiation. I keep saying background microwave radiation, but that's not the main discussion topic of this episode. Forgive me for that. This background magnetic field strength of the Earth is far greater than the magnetic field of these power lines at a distance of like more than 5 meters. Really, how far away was it? Say usual distance. Let's say we're walking under.
I think he did 200 meters. or less.
Well, 200 meters.
Less
That's
than
like that's about a safe living distance. But
Yeah.
even if you're right underneath it, you're still about maybe a tenth, if not 100th of the size anyway. It's really not significant.
It's not significant at all.
Like,
And like, I live near one. There's one not that far away from me, and I sort of seem to be doing quite fine at the moment. So
and I used to live pretty much underneath one as well, but I'm still kicking. So
yeah,
hell, I've been predicted 3 A stars and an A, so I think I'm doing just fine. Leukemia hasn't got me
not
yet.
And just leukemia in children, and I'm not a child anymore, so I'm fine. No more leukemia for me.
Yeah. Even if it affects only children, then that's only about 100th of the population. Then
I'm
you
not
read
too sure about the statistics on a number of children in the population. I don't keep myself up to date with the statistics on that.
No, neither.
Yeah, so there is a chance that magnetic fields could cause harm to people. If there's a magnetic field above 10,000 millitesla, 10,000 millitesla, then which is something that you might find in like a what are they called? Like a CT scanner. I think that's what they're called.
For perspective, I would like to say that 10,000 milliteslas is 10 teslas, and the current strongest magnetic field that has been generated on Earth was 45 in a really large research center. So it's highly apart from CT scans, it's rather unlikely you'd
so you might get one in a CT scan where it happens. But if there's like this is moving near your brain, near the eye. So like you've got to move yourself in and out of the field. So you got to be like, if you're like shaking your head back and forth whilst inside of a CT scanner, you might be able to produce small electrical currents in sensitive nerve cells in the retina, known as graded potential neurons, which will give the illusion of white light flickering, even though you could be in complete darkness. And this visual manifestation of the magnetic field is called magnetosphenes. But as I said, it only happens if the direction of the field is rapidly changing. So if we had AC current producing the magnetic fields of over 10,000 millitesla, or maybe you would just somehow go passing in and out of this field rapidly, then you could get maybe to experience this. But that's the only effect it has really on small cells, small super sensitive nerve cells in the retina. Nothing major, and it appears to not be long lasting afterwards. So if you just leave the magnetic field or turn the machine off, then your vision will return to normal and there'll be no further impact on your health. Nothing else is permanently damaged. No cancer of the eye. That's it.
So in conclusion, what do you think about the public concerns 10 years ago to do with leukemia in children and high voltage power
I think
lines?
that it was just people reading one report, which they weren't even sure themselves, the people conducting the research, if it was correct. That they were reading it and saying power lines, seeing leukemia and children, and thinking, oh my god, this is going to cause leukemia in my child, or I'm going to get leukemia if they were a child seeing it. And they were just not reading what it was actually being said. They just read the title, and then if you further look into it, even the original news articles at the time weren't even saying themselves that it does. They said it might. So it's just people being worried about something that there wasn't really a big fear of. You should be more worried about going outside.
So it's just
hit by a car.
Just the nature of humans. Just the nature of humans fearing everything that might bring harm.
Humans just have to worry. So yeah.
That's the nature of this species, isn't it?
You got to protect. I guess we have evolved to protect ourselves, but from harm and stuff. But there isn't any harm here.
No need to get philosophical now. I think we should cut it there before we rant on for another hour.
Worry about magnetic fields causing harm, then we shouldn't have any phones. Like I have an iPad, the magnets in that case, and some people have like that MagSafe iPhones. That's over. I measured it with an app. That's goes over 2,000 millitesla, which is a way higher than what the magnetic field produced by the power lines is, and even of just the Earth. So yeah.
Okay, that brings us to the end of this episode of the first episode of the 1,000 Hour Aviation Podcast. Hope you'll be here next time. And with that, I'm Jakub, and
I'm Tyler.
I'm joined with
Tyler. Huge thanks to our high voltage expert, voltage of the high expert, who's really good at high voltage, Andrei, for helping us with this. So yeah, until next time. See you later.
Yeah, see ya.